All right. Welcome to Dagwood's Pub. Woo! Again, our special guest tonight, this couldn't have worked out any better. The friend of the Fanatic, Tom Burgoyne. Let's give it up.
Woo! Just in time for playoff baseball.
Hey, everybody, we're in the playoffs.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, real quick, I see that this is a special night. Anytime you can get the owner and the co-owner to sit in on the show, this is a big night. So I want to welcome Nikki and Ed and thank them for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I guess they're Ed's friends asking who. We certainly do. But anyway, it's Dagwood's. We're here once a month. We're this fan's view. City Distilling is our presenting sponsor, and great vodka, by the way. Vodka and lemonade, I highly recommend it. It's a great drink. But anyway, the bucket price, 5 for $15. Is that a to-go price also? Just checking in. But anyway. Welcome, everybody. Maddie and Sam are the servers tonight. Can I get a hell yeah for Sam and Maddie? Come on.
Woo! Hell yeah.
Thanks, Sam. But I got a table up here for two if you guys are looking for seating. But anyway,
Come on up.
We're honored to have Tom with us tonight with the busy schedule of the Phillies and the Fanatic, of course. He's here, there, and everywhere. You were in my neighborhood this morning, by the way. I was checking in on where you were. So you're everywhere.
Fanatic is everywhere. Remember, Carl? It's the Fanatic. I'm just the best friend.
I know. Well, you got to drive him.
But I have to drive him. I believe me. I have to do his laundry. I cook for him. I tuck him in at night.
He's pampered.
Yeah, he's very pampered. It's a very tiring job. But yeah, we were in Broomall, and the kids there had a little rally at Loomis Elementary, and they were going crazy. It was awesome.
Very cool. Lauren's wandering around the room. She's got the mic. So if you guys have questions, comments, anything for Tom, let's, just raise the hand. We're going to do our normal trivia stuff. We're in the midst of a rain delay. We're hoping to get the game started by 7:30. Have you heard anything?
7:30, 7:45. Yeah, and Carl, it's funny when you called and asked, for me to do this. It was about a month ago. We didn't know what the schedule was going to be, and then it came out, and then okay, well that's fine, but maybe the game will be. I don't know what time the game's going to be on. And it's like, well, the game will be going on. It is interesting. The game's not on right now, so we can talk Phillies baseball, talk Fanatic, and then hopefully at 7:30, 7:45 we'll have a game tonight. Yeah.
Here we go. Lauren, questions, comments? You got anything in the room? Not yet?
Well, I have one. How's the Fanatic getting? Is he getting ready for the playoff baseball?
Yeah,
it hasn't been here in 11 years.
John, it's great. It's Can you believe it's been 11 years?
No,
I can't believe it. We got an email from our executive vice president said, hey, a lot of you who work here now for the Phillies have not experienced playoff baseball, and it's true. It just seems like it was yesterday, right? When we had that great run, and it's hard to believe it's been 11 years. And I got to tell you, we had our rally bus out last week, and we went to, a bunch of different places all around the city, about a dozen different places. And I was wondering, man, are we going to try to recapture that spirit that we had in 2008? And sure enough, everywhere we went, people are fired up.
Oh yeah.
And it's true. I know our attendance number, we were over 2 million fans this year. It's, nothing to sneeze at, but it dips and goes up, and you when it comes to Philadelphia, you can't. The attendance number doesn't reflect the number of passion, the number of Philly fans that are out there. We see the number of Philly sports fans who travel. The Eagles fans took over last week. There were a lot of fans in St. Louis.
Well, in St. Louis and Atlanta as well.
When we clinched there. So it's just great that we're stoking the fan base again.
Yep, and the on Friday it's going to be packed. Standing room only.
It will be. The games are sold out, and I'm not a big secondary market guy, but I know you go to some of these secondary markets and the prices are over $300 just for standing room only.
Right.
I gotta say it too. They compare it with Atlanta, and
$15.
You can walk in the door at $15. It's like really.
Yeah.
So something special about Philadelphia, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
We're. I was listening to Ricky Pitalico the other night, and he was talking about how long the Phillies have been on the road through all of this. And it's been a while, right? It's been like 18 days or something.
The last 10 games of the season.
So I can only imagine what the energy is going to be like at the bank on Friday.
Oh, it's going to be electric. It's going to be electric. Phillies playoff baseball, there's nothing like it. I got chills, just thinking about it. Listening. I tried to. I was joking with Carl because, I think it's going to be a sweep. So you're going to have one game Friday.
I love it.
But that song by Black Eyed Peas. So I got a feeling. That gives me goosebumps every time I hear that.
Did you have that feeling in 2008?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
2008. I was had season tickets with a couple people. We went to every game through the playoffs. And even in Tampa as well.
And you went to the first half of Game 5 and the second half of Game 5.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. We were at every one. We even went down to Tampa to watch the games down there, and it was amazing. It was just a ride. It was amazing.
Well, it's interesting because you think you had that feeling. So it's like, okay, when did we get that feeling? Now we had a tough September.
We did.
And it's like, okay, I think the thought was, that feeling wasn't there that maybe it was in 2008. But then, a couple of these wins, I got to tell you too, the bottom part of the order, where the child, the daycare is, they have brought such an energy to the team. And in a weird way, they have taken the pressure off of, I think, some of our big bats, and some of our veteran guys. You think, okay, the veteran guys got to step up, and there's no question. If we're going to go far in the playoffs, we need the big guys to step up. But there have been times where I just think the energy, and you see it in the clubhouse celebrations, which are the greatest. It's the greatest TV out there. Like, to watch our Phillies, celebrate like that. But I think it's that young group is, really leading the charge there. They're playing kind of the new music, and they're loose. Yep. They're loose, and the Phillies going into this playoff they're a number 6 seed. They're playing very relaxed, nothing to lose, and it's a dangerous team. And we have talent throughout the lineup. I mean, you need talent, but the way they're going, the way they're feeling, I think it looks good.
No, exactly. And like you were saying, with the way that they're playing in the clubhouse, it's good, But I think this team's built for the playoffs. The regular season's different. You go through the ups and downs through the regular season, but I think they're built for the playoffs with the power. Which we haven't really shown too much power yet in the playoffs, but they're getting the runs, and then pitching. And especially in the short series, 3 games in this first one here, in the 5 games, having the 2 studs with Noel and Wheeler going, it's going to be, and even Ranger pitched amazing yesterday.
For sure. And depth, we have that depth now. I think that we can put some, if we need somebody as a 4th starter, we can juggle and have guys in there.
Bailey Falter and Thor, exactly.
Yeah, I think Thor. I think when Thor gets into the playoffs, he could be a factor.
Exactly.
All right, let's throw it out to Lauren. What do you got?
Reading cards.
I have 2 questions for you. One, has the Fanatic ever been injured during any of the you came at the stadium. And number two, I thought you know, aren't you in the fanatic in the Hall of Fame?
John, excellent questions. I'll hit the second one first. The Fanatic is in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, and it's really awesome. And the way it came about actually was pretty cool. The Baseball Hall of Fame had been asking for the Phillies to donate the costume to the Hall of Fame, and I don't know, and it was coming through me, and it was kind of me making the call. I was talking to the guy who runs the Hall of Fame for a couple of years, and I was a little uneasy with it. And 2002, Harry Callis wins the Fort C. Frick Award, and Harry was going into the Hall of Fame. And as soon as that announcement was made, a day later, I get a call from the same guy I had been talking to in Cooperstown, and he said, "Hey, we'd really love to, have Harry, but also it would be cool if, the Fanatic, if you could donate it, we'd make a big thing of it." And it was just the greatest thing ever. I'll say, certainly being with the Fanatic that year down Broad Street in 2008 is my most favorite memory. But I'll say number two was that weekend in Cooperstown with Harry and the group. They did a great job at the Hall of Fame of doing a couple different induction things for the Fanatic. So now when you go up to Cooperstown, the costume is there in a case and is displayed. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, we love it. And the first one was the first question was,
Have you ever gotten injured?
Oh, injured. That's right. Yeah, there have been some injuries. And I guess the one that I think of always is the Fanatic is in Lehigh Valley doing a AAA game, a Lehigh Iron Pigs game. And the Fanatic's in like the third or fourth row, and a foul ball comes right off of the dugout and hits the Fanatic in the neck, which wouldn't be such a big deal, but the Fanatic's neck is my face. So the Fanatic goes down, everybody's laughing. I kind of go through the row and talk to the woman who's my security and say, "Hey, you got to get me out of here. I'm bleeding and I'm dizzy." And so we go up and up the steps to the concourse. And of course, there are 50 people on the concourse waiting to get pictures with the Fanatic. So, and meanwhile, the girl had called EMT, and so it's like, all right, when's the EMT gonna get here? But I'm trying to, make my way through the concourse. I'm bleeding. My there's a bulge coming out of my eye, and finally I do see the EMT coming. I'm like, oh, finally, I'm gonna get some help here. But the one guy pulls out his camera, the EMT guy. His partner comes up next to the Fanatic and wants a picture. And then they leave. It's like, no, he needs medical attention, And they got me to the hospital, and only a slight concussion, John. That's, so I was fine.
There you go. There you go.
Great question. Where are we at? We good? We good, Lauren?
Yeah. Right at the moment in the crowd. So I guess there's no party like Harry Callis party, especially going in the Hall of Fame then, and then as you as well.
It was great, and like anything the Phillies do, just done with such class,
First class,
and
yep.
first class all the way. That weekend, the Phillies had a huge tent party on the lake, and they brought front office employees up there. And just had live music and just had this great tent party. And I got to tell you, that my memory of that was, first of all, I had my whole family there because we were also celebrating the Fanatic, which was cool. And but we're having this great party, and it was like a wedding. We're out on the dance floor, everybody's having fun. And next thing you know, here comes Harry in his white blazer out of like the darkness, because at this point it's dark out, and he had been making the rounds. They have him on a schedule up there, but he was like, "Hey, I got to hit the Phillies party at the end of the night." He shows up, goes up with the band, and they do a version of High Hopes that brings the house down. And what was special for me that weekend with Harry was he came to the induction ceremony for the Fanatic.
Okay.
And it was in the middle of the ceremony. I'm up on stage. They're in the middle of this thing and just getting ready to get started. And in walks Harry, and he sits down in the front row, and he wanted to be there. I knew Harry for a long time, and he wanted to be there for the Fanatic, but it was also kind of wanted to be there for me for
Right.
my special
Very
moment.
cool.
So I can't say enough great things about Harry.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, does the Fanatic have a favorite mascot other than himself?
Well, it's a four-way tie. We got Franklin from the Sixers, Swoop. We got Fang from the Union, and Gritty.
I see what you're doing
It's
here.
a four-way tie for the Fanatic's favorite mascots. There's no question.
So the San Diego Chicken doesn't fit
Out.
in
He's
anywhere.
out.
Nah, he's out. And I'll say, from a baseball standpoint, I got to tell you, my favorite has always been Slider from Cleveland. He's great. He's funny. It's interesting in that there was the guy who worked under Bill Giles. He worked for the Phillies forever. He was a Manioc guy, Roxborough guy, Denny Lehman. And Denny was helped in those early years with the Fanatic. And he went on to become the president of the Cleveland Indians. And when he went to Cleveland, he said, we got to have a mascot program just like the Phillies have with the Fanatic. And they came up with Slider, and I love him. Yeah, he's great.
Very cool. Very cool. Questions in the room? Anyone? Come on.
There we go.
You gotta
Mike
have
Schmidt's
a
got one.
Who does?
Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt. Here we go. The Mike Schmidt.
How does the Fanatic stay cool in the dog days of summer?
He doesn't. But, you got to remember Michael Jack Schmidt over there. He's from the Galapagos Islands, and it gets very hot there, very dry. So he's very used to the hot weather come summer. For me, I go through about 5 or 6 T-shirts a game and just sweat it out. You just sweat it out. Yeah, some people think, oh, there's got to be an air conditioning unit in there, and it's like, no, air conditioning units are for wimps. So. And they don't even exist. I think the bigger costumes, like if you go to Disney and they have these bigger costumes and I don't know, bigger heads, they do have fans like in the head, but it does nothing. It does nothing. Yeah.
It's just moving hot air around.
Yeah. It just moves hot air around.
That's too funny.
How about
Little trivia.
do you have some good trivia?
I do.
You've done your homework?
Wow. That's
Because
a
you
one
know
soul.
you're critiqued
Oh, I know.
very much.
Oh, I know. All right. So,
All right, for those of you that this might be your first show, if you know the answer, it's the first person to put their hand up, and I'll bring the mic to you.
where was the Fanatic formally introduced to the public at?
Well, that's a great question.
It's trivia.
Oh. I don't think I can tell you right now, nobody's going to get it.
It was like Ron Jaworski. Ron Jaworski, I said that. Ron, he
Yeah,
answered
you
all.
want the answer?
So this is the first, public appearance.
First public appearance.
By the Fanatic.
It was a TV show.
Oh, yeah. So you do. So you guys have researched it. Have our
You got any hands? You got a pass.
as
I
our
want to say, Noah's.
Not.
Captain Noah, yeah.
Captain
There you go. You got it.
Nice
There you
work. Michael Jack Schmidt gets the answer correct.
Who was the co-host with them?
I know that one too. Can I answer this?
You can answer that one.
How about that Tim McCarver?
There you go.
Number 11.
There you go. Jumped out with a little tough one there. That one wasn't as easy.
So
That
give
was a
us,
tough one.
is there a backstory to that? I mean, as far as the show and the introduction, did we know what we were doing?
Yeah, it was before my time. Hey, the history is, I can give you a quick little recap. The Phillies executives, including Denny Lehman, goes out to San Diego in 1977, and they see the chicken running around. The chicken was not part of the Padres organization. He was part of a radio station, and it was just a promotion. And he was funny. He did stuff that was now that we know, things the Fanatic does now.
Mhm.
But they came back and told Bill Giles, hey, maybe we can, have a mascot of our own. and Bill Giles goes to Jim Henson, who was with the Muppets and Sesame Street at the time, and they have a costume made, and that's how it got started. Dave Raymond was an intern at the time, just a guy in the promotions department. Bill knew Dave. Of course, Dave is the son of Tubby Raymond, who was the longtime football coach at Delaware Blue Hens. Bill goes to Dave. I think that I love hearing Dave tell the stories. Like, I went to my parents and they were just like, everybody was telling him, don't do it. The mascot, what? You're gonna, they're gonna hang you. The Philly fans are the toughest. And it's like, that old adage, like, hey, if your employer asks you to do something, you do it. So Dave did it, thankfully, because the guy, was just the most talented guy, and there couldn't have been a better guy for the job. And so the costume gets delivered literally like the day of the game. So I know we're saying the public appearance, but Dave hadn't even tried on the costume. He put it on. He went out during batting practice. They took a couple pictures, and then that night, the Fanatic made his debut. And I love that too. He says, Tom, I didn't know what to do. He's like, but at one point he fell in the 300 level. He fell down some steps, and everybody laughed. And he's like, well, all right, maybe that's what I should be doing.
Part of it,
But the Noah's. I want to say though, maybe it was like that day they shot this Noah, Captain Noah thing, but that was his first appearance.
Tim McCarver was start. I think he was starting his radio broadcaster.
Okay, yeah.
Is why they were saying that he was part of the show at the time.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I do know, and Dave's like, I remember the next day in the paper, it was April 25th, 1978. Fanatic makes his debut. I think it was like a win against the Cubs, I think, or Expos. But Tim McCarver, look at you, John. You know your Fanatic trivia. But McCarver is quoted in the paper as saying, "We're 1-0 with the Philly Fanatic," and it's like, "Ooh, all right, yeah." Give him a little bit of props there.
There you go.
I'm sorry, I took one of your trivia questions.
You did. It's okay.
It's all good.
I'm used to it.
Let's stick with the storyline here, and bring us up to where we're at today, and Dave's relationship and where we're at. So bring us up to speed. Yeah.
Well, up to speed is Fanatic comes out in 1978. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm thinking this is the greatest thing ever. I was a huge Philadelphia sports fan. I was a little bit of a class clown. So when the Fanatic came out, I was like, this is Mike Schmidt, the Three Stooges, and Bugs Bunny all wrapped into one, So I was like, I love this. And so I just watched the Fanatic, as most Philadelphia sports fans do. When he's out there, you kind of watch him. And went to St. Joe's Prep. I was the Hawk my senior year, so I was actually in high school.
Let's give it up for the Hawks.
Go Hawks!
Come on.
Everybody from the Prep,
We
go
got
Prep!
a couple Hawks.
And I know we have some Drexel here too, right? Some Drexel. There we go. We got you, Henry, over there. I went to Drexel, but I was not the Dragon. We went to a fraternity, and I wasn't in a fraternity, so I'd take a job in sales when I graduated. It was not my training ground at Drexel, but it could have been. But I took a job in sales. I'm selling business forms, computer supplies, doing that for about 6 months. I'm not selling anything. I'm not making any money. So I started looking at the One Ads Sunday Inquirer. One Ads. I know I'm dating myself. Everybody, does this online now, I guess. But the Phillies placed a one-time ad that said mascots wanted in the Philadelphia Inquirer. Send a resume and a letter to a P.O. box. Nothing about the Phillies, Fanatic, nothing. But I'm like, I said it. Hey, I was the Hawk, and I'm thinking I'm going to be out on the side of a road at tax time dressed as the Statue of Liberty. But the Phillies call like 2 weeks later and like, hey, come on down for an audition. I'm like, what? Like, you're Fanatic? Are you kidding me? So went down and auditioned. I had to actually put the costume on and dance. They filmed about a dozen of us. And they didn't know who was in the costume. After the interview, they didn't know who was in the costume. So they looked at all the videos and they liked my video. Meanwhile, I'm driving home from this thing thinking, first of all, I'm going to tell my grandkids someday that I actually was the Fanatic for 5 minutes. But I also was thinking, there's things I should have done, and I was up against, like Socceroo from the Fury, that was like a defunct, soccer team in Philadelphia, and I'm like, I'm up against some professionals. I didn't have a shot, but they called me a week later and got the job. So that's kind of how that all happened. Yeah,
Rest is history from there.
that's just history. That was 34 years ago. So it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Has there been any contact from Hollywood or anybody about a movie or anything?
You know what? I would love that. That would be the capper.
I mean, they made a movie about an Eagles fan who became an
Yes.
Eagles player. So
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Phillies
with
fan,
that.
it turns into the mascot.
right,
It's-
Phillies fan who turns into the Fanatic.
The Fanatic has done his own videos. We have like 3 or 4 videos that were on, DVDs and that I put together, and with our video department. It's just so much fun to do that. And then just last year we did Philly Fanatic Saves the Fourth.
That was
So
awesome.
it was, you can YouTube it. It was just the coolest thing. It was really we did all those other videos in-house, but this year we went and kind of hired this professional group to film it. It was just done really the right way, and it really comes off as like this 13-minute movie.
Yep.
And of course, it's the Fanatic. He's saving the fourth. There's a magic bat, and unless he touches that magic, that's been stolen by a villain, and unless he can touch home plate, with the countdown clock going down. So it was a little bit like the show 24. We
Yep.
had a little command center, but the Fanatic has to touch home plate with this thing. So it's fireworks night. And so they show the movie, the lights are out, people are going crazy like with the movie. And then with this chase through Center City, he's getting chased by villains. The Fanatic comes down into Citizens Bank Park with the lights out. The villains are like lit by spotlights, on the field. The Fanatic has to dodge them. And then, there's the countdown clock, and the Fanatic touches home plate at the last minute. And it was just, and then there was a whole on-field light show, and then the fireworks goes off. So it was this great thing, right? But we did talk about, maybe, we do know some people in Hollywood. It's like, this thing worked out really good. Wouldn't it be cool to have some kind of a, feature film with the Fanatic, But I don't know. Realistically, it's like the Fanatic is regional, it's like, well, is somebody in Montana gonna go watch the Philly Fanatic movie, But I think maybe there's a way we could tie in other mascots, or I don't know. It could be kind of like a Muppet movie for mascots, which I think would be cool. But I'm working on it.
If you need a podcast to work with this fan,
And then you got to be there. Yeah, no question.
And let's talk about the children's books.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we started a reading program. I had written some books with a neighbor of mine. He wrote a great book about the 1960 Eagles, and he lives right across the street from me. I knew he worked at Pico, and then he writes this book. He gives it to me. I'm like, this is like the greatest book I ever read. Tommy McDonald and Norm Van Brocklin, and it was just such a great book. I'm like, oh, you're a writer? Yeah. I've been freelancing and doing restaurant reviews. Anyway, we did a book about the 93 Phillies. We did a book about our move into Citizens Bank Park. And then I wrote another book, a business book called Field of Love, which has just been a great thing for me. But in the middle of all that, it's like, man, the Fanatic I started to get to know publishers and, understanding that world a little bit. And we're like, the Fanatic should have, and I had young kids. And I'm reading the Barney books, like, before they go to bed. I'm like, we can do better than Barney, I think let's do
Barney
some
or
Fanatic
Fanatic.
books, a little bit more hip, And so anyway, we start this book series, and I have to give Len Epstein a shout out. Len passed away last year. Together, we did 18 children's books. And Len is just the greatest guy. He'd been illustrating the Fanatic since 1984. And we teamed up on these books, and it was just the greatest thing. And now we have a reading program called Fanatic About Reading. We get 100,000 plus kids in the Philadelphia School District and in the Delaware Valley reading books, 15 minutes a night. Just read 15 minutes a night is our message.
Right.
And there's a program, and then we visit about 20 or 25 schools a year. And we have a Fanatic About Reading night sponsored by Xfinity. And that's cool. We honor, 20 great readers, and we get them on the dugout. We dance, and kids that night get the free books. So it's just been a great program, and really something I'm real proud of.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
Very good thing.
Well, we've hit the 7 o'clock hour, and if we've got any new folks that have joined us, we got to hit the raffle table. Get your 2 free raffle tickets. If you'd like to buy extras, they're $1 a piece. The money goes towards the CCC charities where we're always donating. Most recently, we did a big fundraiser for the ALS Hope Foundation. Prior to that, we were all in on the Darren Dalton Foundation. So we've done, in our small little slice of the world, we've done some nice stuff. So know that the money that we generate here gets passed on.
Yes.
So again, we always need to thank the owners. We're very appreciative to have Dagwoods in our corner once a month. We'll be back here when, John? What's the next date?
What did we say? It was the 9th. November 9th.
November the 9th. So maybe we'll have Barney next show. No Barney.
That was a low blow. That's all I can say, Carl.
No Barney.
You're going to follow up me with Barney?
No Barney.
That was just not right.
No.
So Dan Baker, Tom Burgoyne,
And then Barney.
and then Barney.
And then Barney.
No, that's
not happening.
That's a bad joke. But anyway, City Distilling, and you're gonna take this home. You're gonna enjoy that.
I
So,
met Jesse, and he presented me with this bottle, and
Yep.
I'm going to keep it away from the Fanatic. He's a big milk drinker. the Fanatic,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
But his friend is not.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Exactly.
Good to hear. Lauren, what do we got? I know you're itching to dig into the Mattis Minute, which is a new segment. He's not here tonight, which
But I did get an email with the questions.
you did.
I did.
And I prepped our guest, so he's ready.
All right. So for those of you that might be new to the show, the Mattis Minute is basically just like a quick segment of questions. It's meant for the guests to sort of answer them in 1 or 2 words. But if you have a really great story, we obviously want to hear it, so feel free. All right, so the first one. Does the Fanatic ever hang out and have beers with Brady and Swoop?
Boy, he's a milk drinker,
Bill obviously wasn't paying attention to the show.
and he's a milk drinker. Next question.
Who is the Fanatic's favorite team and players to mess with?
Well, favorite team, the Phillies, but a team to mess with. I always think the West Coast teams are a little looser. I always thought that. And then, so the Giants, actually, Bruce Bochy was the longtime manager there. The Fanatic always did a whole big shtick with Bruce Bochy has this huge head. And the Fanatic, before the game, would make fun of Bruce Bochy's big head. And the players would enjoy it every time the Fanatic would do that.
Spell Galapagos.
GALAPAGOS.
There you go.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I hope there's no math coming next.
You never know with Bill.
Has the Fanatic ever gotten hate mail or prank calls from Mr. Met?
No, but I do love some of the memes that are out there right now. Is this the greatest thing?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just the best. They did that big trumpet thing, and I just love the fact that they're playing taps now.
Right.
Mr. Met is playing taps. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to YouTube or wherever you see your.
Well, when we're done this segment, we're going to hit on this.
All right,
This
good.
has legs.
Good. It does have legs.
And the only thing that would have been better would have been if the Phillies would have knocked the Mets out in the playoffs.
No, I wanted the Mets.
Well, I
by the
did-
way.
I did as
I
well.
wanted the
Yep.
Mets.
Yep.
Is there any way the Fanatic can run and dominate in that dopey president's race they have at the national games?
We've been fending off doing a race like that on a regular basis because everybody else does it, and it's like no. So yeah, the Fanatic, he would take out all three of them.
I was gonna say, what do you mean?
He would win.
Hands down.
Come on. I mean, he's built for speed, the Fanatic.
Aerodynamic.
Because he drinks a lot of milk.
So I'm not sure about the answer to the next one because of the milk, but we'll go with it. Is the Fanatic a Budweiser beer guy? I mean, come on, he must be.
Well, when you see that gut, I understand. The gut is from a lot of cheesesteaks and not necessarily beer. My gut, by the way, is, Yingling, pretty much. Yeah.
Does Bryce Harper pay the Fanatic whenever he wears his stuff?
Wouldn't that be nice? Or pay the Fanatic's friend. That would even be better. Yeah.
Has the Fanatic ever had COVID?
No.
Other than himself, who is the Fanatic's favorite mascot?
We talked about that. I'd say the four-way tie, the Philadelphia mascots, no doubt about it.
Is it true that the Fanatic has been asked to run for political office? How about the mayor of Philadelphia? The city needs him.
Do you think would the Fanatic win that election?
No doubt.
You know what? I'm gonna when I get home, I'm gonna ask the Fanatic about if he wants to run for mayor of Philadelphia. I'll ask him. I'll get back to you on that one.
Is that it? That's it for the Mattis Minute this week. Good stuff.
Yep.
That was good.
There we go.
Good stuff. John, has that check cleared yet?
It hasn't. It hasn't. He
Okay.
keeps dodging us.
All right. So let's touch base on this Met trumpet and this Hernandez guy and
Diaz.
let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, listen, the Fanatic gets along with all the mascots. It's all good. And it's funny, since 1996, MLB has sent all the mascots to the All-Star game. 1996 was the year the Phillies hosted, and so ever since that year. And it's been great. I've been to every All-Star game for the last 22 or so years, and it's great. You know, you go to these cities, it's awesome. So I know the best friend of them, Mr. Met, and good guy, but it is, and when they came out, like the thing they did during the season, and then it was pretty cool. You know, they really pump up this guy who comes into the game, and then, you got, Mr. Met playing the trumpet, but, I know they played him, they were losing, and they had Mr. Met out there, and I will say, for the Fanatic, the Fanatic goes out and he's on the dugout in the bottom of the seventh inning. He does a dance. It's great. It's a time of the game where people get excited, and it is funny. I do say, there are times we're losing by 10 runs. The Fanatic's going down in the dugout, to get on the dugout, but people are, get excited about it. And then, the inning ends, Fanatic might bring a kid up or has something going on in the dugout. The spirit is good.
Right.
And then the music ends and we're still losing by 10 runs. That happens sometimes. But but then the Fanatic is pretty much gone by the top of the eighth. He doesn't, and then he's gone. And I've always believed that, and especially in Philadelphia, and New York should know this too, in terms of, you should let the game kind of to take over at this point. You don't need the Fanatic out there leading. You never need in Philadelphia. You never need the Fanatic, leading cheers. But after the eighth inning, let the game take over. So I guess they might have made a mistake, that last game where they had, they did the whole spiel and maybe the timing wasn't right. Timing is everything.
Yes,
It is. That's true.
for sure. Speaking about timing, questions, comments from anybody here? I know everybody's busy eating and drinking and having a good time, but we'll take a question or two.
Start 20 minutes.
That's what they're saying.
Nice.
That's what they're saying. So we will have Phillies baseball tonight. How do you feel about that?
I feel great. I'd rather them play tonight than 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Right.
I also feel great. This 4-hour rain delay is in Atlanta and not Philadelphia, and I'm sure our fans feel the same way. Can we talk about 2008 and what happened that year? I mean, it is unbelievable to me, and I really think, and maybe if 2008, that game 5 with the rain delay, it happened in New York to the Yankees, it would be, the part of baseball war. It'd be this unbelievable thing, the 48-hour rain delay, and oh my gosh. And somehow, to me, it was the most unique set of circumstances we've ever seen. And then the fans and David Montgomery, God, rest his soul. David, after the game when they were up on the stage, he thanked all the fans for coming back. We only had like a couple hundred fans who didn't come back for the second half of that with the scheduling problems and all that. But I'll tell you, I mean, it's really one of my fondest memories, being able to go out there and you're in the middle. It's the pregame, so the second half, but we're going into the bottom of the 7th inning. But we're doing everything. We didn't do another national anthem that night. I remember that because we'd already had the national anthem 2 days before. But man, you didn't need the fanatic out there to wave a rally tower or do whatever. But it was fun to be out there and kind of lead some stuff. And it was just unbelievable. And then Jeff Jenkins leads off the double, and it was the most intense, really the most intense 2.5 innings maybe there's ever been in baseball. I mean, and believe me, and I do believe it. If the game was in New York, that's what they'd be talking about.
Yeah, because the only other time it happened was 75 with the Reds and Red Sox. I think it was.
Yeah, it was a similar thing. So there was a rain delay. It stopped
the game for a game or two, or a day or two, and they came back. But that was the only time that it was.
All right, so I have to tell you the story. I don't really tell this story too often, but so it's the first part, all right, of the first half of that, and the fanatic is getting ready to go out and shoot T-shirts because it's raining. He can't bring his ATV out on the field, so that is one of the things we do. If the ground is wet, let's shoot T-shirts. So there's a room for the ground crew. And the ground crew is on top of the weather. They have the most sophisticated equipment in this little dirt room behind home plate, right up, you go up the steps and you're at the field. I'm with the fanatic. We go into this dirt room. There's Bud Selig. Bud Selig's right-hand man. Our head groundskeeper, who's very much in part of this, and the Philly fanatic standing around this sophisticated computer showing the radar and all that. And look, if a photographer was there to take that picture, it just, with Doug Seelig trying to figure out what he's going to do. It was quite a moment. I don't know if I agree with Seelig at the time, the way that it all played out, but it did play out. And, thankfully, we did well that year.
And it was fitting Pat Burrell with I wish that was a home run, just missed it.
Yes.
The high wall, but that was just fitting for him to be, basically the game-winning run.
It would have been, and then they came back with their home run. I forgot that guy's
Well,
name.
no, he was the winning run, but they pitched,
right. Yes.
With Lees. But yeah, I mean that was the.
And that play that you had the Utley play
Utley
where
play,
he
right.
Fakes to first and then throws to home. There was so much going on in those 2 innings. It was just amazing.
It was intense.
Yep.
Trivia?
More trivia, absolutely.
Let's throw a couple trivias out there. We got some prizes to give away.
All right, what is the name of the Fanatic's mom?
There we go. Quick guard.
Phoebe is correct.
Phoebe is correct.
That was a softball.
That was. But
That was a softball.
that was a softball.
That was a softball.
But it was leading into my question here. So
Question.
So I have to find out. What did Phoebe do to the Fanatic on Mother's Day to get drilled in the head? That was a little bit of a nasty pitch on Mother's Day.
This happened so many years ago. We brought in other MLB mascots for the Fanatic birthday.
Right.
And the Fanatic's on the mound, Phoebe's at the plate, and the Fanatic throws a heater and hits Phoebe right in the snout, and she goes down like a sniper and just got her. I mean, she went down in a heap. And and I just thought it was funny. When I saw the clip, I thought, oh my gosh, that is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And thankfully, I don't know, thankfully or not, but the producer of Jeff Halleckman, who does our broadcast, he just thought it was the funniest thing ever. So now every time there's a Fanatic birthday or anything Fanatic and there's a little video package, he puts that clip in there. And it was funny. Phoebe gets up, and I think she wanted to charge the mound, but I think like the Mariner Moose or somebody stopped her from charging the mound.
Exactly.
You got another softball to throw out there?
Yeah, well, I got another one. Who was the favorite umpire of the Fanatic?
Favorite umpire of the Fanatic?
Eric Gregg is correct.
Eric Gregg is correct.
There you go.
And unfortunately, Eric's passed on too. And what a personality Eric was. Dave Raymond. When he started Fanatic, Eric was in his prime. And just those old days with the Fanatic, it was so new that you'd have this mascot who was actually interacting with players. He was interacting with umpires. And I think Eric, he was all for it. So,
being from Philadelphia too.
Yeah, being from Philadelphia too. And he always kind of had this great relationship with the Fanatic. When Dave left, I'm trying to get to know some of the umpires, and kind of was difficult for me. I didn't want to step on toes, whatever. Eric Gregg would come to me. He's like, what song are we dancing to tonight? So I love that guy.
Yep.
And his son, Kevin, is back with the organization.
Yeah, he is. And what a success story Kevin is. He started with us. He went up to there's somebody else. And then he was with he eventually got to Boston. It was somebody else before Boston, but did real well there and, running their PR department. And we brought him back. It was a great signing by Dave Dombrowski, so really, really awesome that Kevin's back with the Phillies.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Brought that winning atmosphere back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, from Boston, you mean?
Well, I'm just,
they're back in the playoffs.
We're back in the
just
playoffs.
saying.
Just
Just saying.
Boston hasn't won much recently, right?
Just saying.
We're bringing the Eric Gregg spirit back. That's what I like.
There you go.
I don't need the Boston anything.
There you go. There you go. Are we still 7:45? Is that the start time? Is that what we're looking at? Anybody have a good update?
Jim Salisbury tweeted 13 minutes ago that Zach Wheeler has begun throwing in the outfield for 7:30 start.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
They held the game off just in time for the podcast. That's what I'm going with.
It was very nice.
That was. It was very nice of them.
There you go.
We're gonna have a nice post game show afterwards here.
All right, Henry, how are sales for the raffle prizes? There's some great stuff over there.
Great stuff. Definitely come more. Tons of tickets left. Come on.
There you go.
There is a Philly Fanatic autographed Rawlings bat. Where else? Where else?
I didn't see that. I did see that big Fanatic framed, montage, including that big picture of the Fanatic wearing his green blazer, which, that was really a cool thing. Bryce shows up. I guess it was the 2020 season, right?
Yes.
And he shows up and he's walking up the truck ramp. He's got the green. He always, what's Bryce going to wear on opening day? He's got the green blazer, and then he opens it up, and the lining has got pictures of the Fanatic all over it. And the Phillies social media posts it. It's like, and I look at it like, wow, how cool is that? That's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. So I called the Fanatic seamstress, who some people think I'm the seamstress, Carl, but I'm not. I'm just his chef and everything else. But I do not sew the Fanatics outfits together. It's another girl. Her name's Kim Hanley. She does an unbelievable job. Kim makes this jacket in about 3 days, which is just unbelievable. It's got to be custom fit. And then it's like, well, we need the lining, and the Fanatic's got to have pictures of Harper all over his line. And I ran to some it was right in South Philly. It was like a copy place, and they were able to take this montage of Harper pictures I gave him and put it on material, and then we sewed it into the lining. So then we recreated that picture that you have framed, which is really great, of the Fanatic coming up the truck ramp. He's got the jacket open. It's all the Harper pictures. But the Fanatic, has got his tools of the trade in his hand. He's got a rubber chicken.
Yep.
Because, the Fanatic doesn't go anywhere without his rubber chicken. That's comedy. Silly string. And, and he's got his hand opening up the jacket. So I love the fact that you had that framed, it's awesome.
Would be an event without some Fanatic autographed items. So
I
come
love
on, dig in. There's some great stuff. There's a 16 by 20 of Ryan Howard and Stan the Man Musial. Beautiful piece.
Limited edition.
Limited edition. You know it. All of that stuff is going to get raffled off right about what time, Lauren?
Right around 8 o'clock.
All right, so you got to be here to win.
Did you see? I mean, Stan the Man. I mean, I saw that print too. It's unbelievable. Ryan Howard, man, it's just. I always think if he
could have stayed healthy.
Yep. I mean, the guy got to 100. Got to some of these stats quicker than anybody in baseball. I mean, it kept healthy. But Stan Musial, that guy, you look up the stats. I mean, he's number one in every statistical category, certainly for St. Louis. And, he was, I never saw him play, a little before my time, but I saw him play the harmonica in 2002 at Harry's induction. It was Harry, and it was also, there was only one player who got inducted that year, and it was Ozzie Smith. So they had Stan Musial there, and he played the harmonica, take me out to the ball game. But man, what a player he must have been.
Oh yeah. Well, Ryan Howard, people didn't, realize he was a 300 hitter before the shift. The shift killed him. And hopefully next year that's going to change a lot of things for a lot of different players. Be a lot better going forward there.
Anybody out there? Questions for Tom? Questions about the Fanatic? Anything? Anybody? Did I see Nikki raise her hand? I saw her throw her arm. What? What happened? What? Did she have a question? No. I thought so.
Other than the Fanatic at Citizens Bank Park, he travels obviously to minor league teams. Is there a sort of favorite place outside of Citizens Bank Park that the Fanatic has been and he enjoys going to?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of ballpark, I mean, the Fanatic loves hitting the Phillies affiliate ballparks. Reading, he's been going there for many years. All our affiliates do such a great job. And then in terms of, it's funny, I mentioned the Fanatic's been out to the All-Star game, so it's giving me an opportunity to get to other major league ballparks. But then when a mascot has a birthday, sometimes he'll invite some of his buddies. And I always love, certainly Candlestick Park, for that. I mean, it's such a beautiful park. It's right on the water. It's when you're in your seat, you got that view. Pittsburgh, very similar. When you're in your seat and you got that view of Clemente Bridge and the skyline, is right on top of it. It's great. So I guess they're two of my favorite ballparks. And then I put Wrigley Field and Fenway in a different category because I guess when I think of all the ballparks, I think of Wrigley Field is probably my favorite. Now, it's funny. They're the team for a long time didn't have a mascot. They now do have a mascot. A few years ago, they brought in Clark. But love Wrigley Field, just the neighborhood it's in, being on the rooftops, Murphy's Bleachers, the bar across the street. It's just awesome. But I will say, and I know I'm biased, but I really believe in terms of watching a game, there really isn't I don't think a better ballpark than Citizens Bank Park. It was designed, we had the luxury of seeing in 1992 or the Orioles Camden Yards came out, and it took us a long time to 2004. And in that time, a bunch of ballparks were built, and we were able to take the best of all the ballparks, including just sightlines. So at Citizens Bank Park, there is not a bad seat in the ballpark. And not only that, the drink rail, that they put in, all around on the concourse, so that level, and then the upper level, what it does is everybody then it creates a great standing room only space, and then when you are standing on the field and it's a sellout crowd and everybody is at the drink route, it just and the outfield area, that Ashburn Alley is so close to the action on the field, it just creates a like it's like the palestra, of baseball, where everybody is just right on top of it. And I just think it's the best ballpark in baseball.
So playoff baseball comes back to Philly on Friday. Give us you wake up Friday morning and you got to get in touch with your big green furry friend and make sure he drank his milk and took his vitamins. And what's the scenario? What does Friday look like?
Yeah, he wakes up. You're right, Carl. You're on it. He drinks his milk. He has his cheesesteak in the morning, of course. He'll watch probably. He always watches at least one highlight film a day. So I think he'll probably pop in the DVR, the '93 highlight film, because of course we're playing Atlanta, so he wants to get fired up. He'll get to the ballpark. There'll be no exercise or calisthenics. In fact, that's not his wheelhouse.
It's not his shit.
No.
He doesn't have to worry about pulling muscles.
We have a block party going on. If you remember, when we were in the playoffs from 07 to 11, we had this great block party on Citizens or on Phillies Drive right there at the ballpark. So that's going to be happening. There's going to be a rally at about 3:15, 3:30. I think rumor has it the Fanatic might be smashing an Atlanta's Braves helmet up on stage. We'll have a band out there, and then we'll get ready to party at game time. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a fun night.
Yes.
For sure.
All right, so we have one more question from the audience. Has the Fanatic ever accidentally spoken during any of his?
The Fanatic does not talk. He's speechless.
Is there a reason for that?
He's just a flightless bird from the Galapagos Islands that came to Philadelphia and fell in love with the city and the Phillies and the fans, and he's an animal. So he does not talk. That's my story.
That's gonna run for mayor.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, he's gonna have the friend talk for him.
Hey, can I get everybody's attention right now? I think it's time because the game's about ready to start. Is everybody fired up?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is big.
Oh.
So we were talking about Harry Cowles before, and I think we should everybody, sing High Hopes. Because we have high hopes.
Yes, we do.
So if you'll allow me, I'm going to lead you, but I want everybody to chime in, all right?
There you go.
When you are down, lift your head off the ground. There's a lot to be learned. So look around. Once there was a silly old ant, thought he'd move a rubber tree plant. Everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant 'cause he has high hopes. He's got high hopes. He's got high apple pie in the sky hope. So when you start to feel low, instead and letting go, just remember that it's whoops, there goes a rubber tree. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree. Whoops, there goes another rubber tree plant. All right, that's for Harry.
There you go.
That's for Harry.
Here we go.
Let's get the win tonight, everybody.
And on that note, again, thanks for coming out. We're going to pull all the raffles around the 8 o'clock hour, so we got a little time to burn. Tom's going to stick around, sign a couple of autographs. So let's be cordial. Let's be patient, mindful of the person behind you. Lauren, anything else? We get everybody? Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Dagwoods is a great spot. 2 weeks, we're down in Delco at another spot of ours with the great Bernie Perron. It's a Tuesday night, October
25th.
I'm a bad date guy. So October 25th down in Delco. We'll be back here November 9th. So we'll be announcing a guest. What's so funny? Of course. That's where you two come in. So we're back here in November 9th.
November 9th.
See that? See what I did there?
Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
New dog, old tricks.
All right, the films are about to start.
Here we
Yep.
go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Let's give it up
Alice
for our
River.
guests.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody. Let's go Phillies.